welcome to today's deep dive. So you handed us this, frankly, massive menu-heavy product catalog from an audio-visual supplier called HDTVSupply. And, I mean, navigating it is kind of the definition of information overload.
Yeah, it really is a lot to sift through.
Right, but our mission today is to cut through all that noise and unpack the absolute most compelling piece of infrastructure buried in there. Specifically, we are zeroing in on the Kiloview KVW-RN-3 3G SDI, full NDI encoding and decoding card.
Which is quite a mouthful, but it's a device that really stands out in those massive vendor matrices. It attempts to solve a huge workflow bottleneck, which is bidirectional 3G SDI to NDI conversion at, 1080p 60 frames per second.
Wait, bidirectional processing at 1080p 60?
Exactly.
Because usually, when you force a piece of hardware to simultaneously encode and decode uncompressed SDI and network-based NDI, you introduce a ton of latency.
Yeah.
So how does this board avoid turning a live broadcast into, like, a laggy mess?
Well, that's really the core engineering challenge here. I mean, think of SDI as heavy raw freight.
Okay, heavy freight.
Yeah, and then NDI breaks that heavy freight down into lightweight, fast-moving delivery vans so it can travel over a standard IP network. Doing that in real time and managing the traffic in both directions simultaneously requires dedicated hardware-level processing.
So you can't just rely on software layers to do that translation.
Exactly. Because if you do, the system just gets bogged down.
So it operates like a high-speed freight packaging facility that manages two-way traffic without creating a jam. I mean, is it basically a two-way universal language translator for high-end video signals?
That's a perfect way to put it. It translates traditional broadcast cable inputs into network-based inputs and vice versa, bridging old and new tech.
Which actually explains why the physical board is so incredibly dense.
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the specs, you've got your RJ45 port for the network, USB-C, a 3.5mm audio line in and out, and a really large integrated tally light, all crammed onto one module.
Yeah, and pushing all that I/O through a single dedicated hardware pipeline is exactly what keeps the latency subframe.
And because this card handles so much network traffic natively, it kind of forces us to rethink the physical space of a control room, doesn't it? Like, this isn't a standalone box you just zip tie to the back of a monitor somewhere.
No, not at all. It's a raw card-type module. It's designed specifically to slide directly into the Kiloview Cradle Rackmount Frame.
Which is so much cleaner.
Right, because when you're dealing with dozens of camera feeds in a high-stakes live production, those loose standalone converters become a serious liability. I mean, they mean tangled cables, independent power supplies.
Oh, yeah, and just multiple points of failure everywhere.
Exactly. So this gear is meant for scalable, highly organized professional environments, not just sitting loosely on a desk.
It demands a scalable architecture. You're slotting, 16 or maybe 32 of these processing cards into a single 3U server rack.
Yeah, centralizing power and cooling all in one place.
Which naturally brings us to the ecosystem you're actually buying into. Because when you are purchasing infrastructure at that scale, the vendor supplying it becomes just as critical as the hardware specs. So looking at HDTVSupply's footprint, they actually have a 25-year history in the AV industry. And this specific card is listed at $569.
Which is competitive.
Right. Plus, they have a 10% off discount code clearly listed, free USA shipping, and an option to pay $108 to extend the warranty to 3 years. But what really caught my eye wasn't the pricing or the warranty, it was the customer reviews.
Oh yeah, the feedback profile on there is genuinely interesting. It averages 4.7 out of 5 stars, but the raw honesty in some of those comments is just striking.
It's so real. I mean, one reviewer just simply says, "the best," with exclamation marks. But my absolute favorite is this bluntly honest review where a customer wrote, and I quote, "The staff was less than friendly, but answered my question."
Which is hilarious, but notice how the company handled it, though.
Oh, they replied publicly, right?
Yeah, they apologized for the friction, but verified that the technical issue was resolved. And, when you're dealing with thousands of highly technical SKUs, a vendor that doesn't hide from critical feedback and maintains visible accountability is a crucial part of the supply chain.
It proves there's actual active support behind that massive catalog. So to wrap this up for you, we are looking at a piece of modular infrastructure that handles high-speed bidirectional video packaging without the lag, backed by a veteran AV vendor.
And it leaves us with a really fascinating structural question about the broadcast industry itself.
Definitely. I mean, if high-quality bidirectional video conversion is now this dense, this compact, and completely network-ready, What does that mean for the future of massive traditional broadcast control rooms?
The physical footprint of live production is shrinking incredibly fast.
Right. If you no longer need distinct routing switchers and miles of heavy copper cable, could an entire television studio soon just be a single rack of these cards sitting quietly in a broom closet? Definitely something for you to mull over the next time you're watching a massive live event.